Good morning, good Erev Shabbos. Special greetings to our soldiers at Fort Jackson and Shaw Air Force Base and everybody watching our video. You know, the word Shema is one of the key words in the fifth book of the Torah, the book of Devarim. It appears 92 times. It is also one of the key words of Judaism. It is central to the first two paragraphs of the Shema. One in last week's Torah portion, the other is in this week's Torah portion. The word Shema is kind of untranslatable. It means to hear, to listen, to pay attention, to understand. It's the closest thing we have in biblical Hebrew to the word obey. Now, the Shema represents one of the most radical aspects of Judaism, and that is that God cannot be seen, only heard. Moses warns against worshiping any physical representation of God. He said, God spoke to you out of the fire, you saw no form, you only heard a voice. This affects our most basic metaphors of knowing. Now, in English, almost all of our words for understanding are connected to sight, like insight, foresight, hindsight, vision, imagination. But Judaism is a culture of the ear more than the eye. In fact, the Talmud consistently uses the metaphor of hearing. So when a proof is brought, the Talmud says, Ta Shema, come and hear. In Western culture, understanding is a form of seeing, but in Judaism, it's a form of listening, of hearing. Moses is telling us that God is not looking for blind obedience. He wants us to listen, not just with our ears, with the deepest resources of our mind. By making human beings in God's image, he was creating an otherness. And the bridge between myself and others is conversation, speaking and listening. When we speak, we tell others who we are, but when we listen, we let others tell us who they are. So the urgency of the opening line of the second paragraph of the Shema, this week's Torah portion, if you indeed really listen to my commands to love God. Now you can imagine the Jews telling Moses, we hear you, okay, we got it. And Moses saying, no, you don't get what is happening here. The God of the entire universe is taking a personal interest in your life. Have you any idea of what that means? Maybe we still don't. Listening to another means opening ourselves up to ideas which are often radically different from our own. Now, this takes courage. To listen is to be vulnerable, but it is essential to our humanity. Listening is a profoundly spiritual act. Nowadays, because of social media, it's easy to live in an echo chamber, right, in which we only hear the voices of people who agree with us. But it's the people not like us that make us grow. Listening is the greatest gift we can give to another human being. To be listened to be heard, is to know that someone takes me seriously. That is a redemptive act. The divisions in the world and in the Jewish world will never heal until we understand the deep spiritual truth in Moses' challenge. If you listen, and I mean really listen. Have a good Shabbos. Shabbat Shalom.